I just bought my first camera. What to do now? On this video, I will tell you the first things every beginner photographer needs to learn to start taking very nice photos with a brand new camera, right after the intro. Yay guys, my name is Priscilla Elias and welcome to this channel. It is pretty clear to me that whoever starts out in photography alone, without a photography course or something like that, has the same question. How do I start? What should I learn first? What are the first steps? Should I have a photography course or can I learn how to photograph on YouTube? I myself asked these same questions when I first started. So stick up to the end of this video because today I'll tell you all the first things you need to study and learn as a beginner photographer that will help you to take great photos with your brand new camera. Before that, I'd like to ask you that if this video helps you, that you will please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel and also click the notify button so you will be notified when I release new videos. Now, let's go! The first and the main thing you need to know to start out as a new photographer is to understand the exposure triangle, which is composed by the aperture, shutter speed and ISO. Besides this being the first thing you need to learn in photography, it is, in my opinion, the one thing that is the most complicated to understand and memorize. Once you get the concept and memorize how this works and how it affects your photos though, then everything else will be much easier and faster to learn. So give it some time. If it is hard for you as it was for me and as it was for many other photographers I know, please be patient with yourself, give yourself some time, go over this slowly a couple of times, and you'll see that in no time dealing with the exposure will be just like breathing to you. It just happens without you even thinking of it. The exposure will set the amount of light that will get into your camera sensor, and being able to settle it correctly will allow you to have photos with the correct amount of light. When you change your aperture, shutter speed and ISO, you will automatically be changing the amount of light that comes into your camera. But besides that, if you change your aperture other than changing your light, you will also change the depth of field. If you change your shutter speed other than changing your light, you will also change the way you capture movement in your photo. And by changing the ISO other than changing the light, you will also change the amount of grain you will get in your photo. Now, I won't get further into details on this video, so if you want to learn exposure entirely, just click on the link to the video where I explain that in details up here, and I will also leave the link for it in the description. Okay, so once you understand what exposure means, you will be able to decide what mode you will use to photograph. And this is step number 2. Will you shoot in manual mode? Will you shoot in aperture priority mode? In shutter speed priority? The modes can be found on the dial of your camera, and they are the second thing you need to learn to be able to take your first good shots. If you're starting to learn now, I'd say go manual. If you learn how to shoot in manual mode, then later, even if you decide to shoot in priority mode, that will be a piece of cake to you. So why not learn it and be able to have the versatility to switch modes and have full control of your camera? I always shoot in manual mode, and if you want to know why and also be able to see the difference between the manual modes and other priority modes, just check this video up here that will be also linked in the description. The third thing you need to learn is how to get your focus right. It is impossible to make good photos if you don't know how to get sharp images with the focus spot exactly where it needs to be in the photo. And there are several things you need to keep in mind to be able to nail your focus. You have to be able to choose your metering mode. You have to be able to choose your focusing mode. It will be nice to learn how to recompose a shot, and also you need to understand how your aperture and your shutter speed influence your focus. A lot of info. If you just listen to the names, yeah, it does sound like it's a lot, but if you want to understand the details about this in an easy way, check out this video. I'm sure you'll see it's not as hard as it sounds. Okay, so once you've learned the exposure triangle, once you've understood the modes of your camera and decided which one you're using to shoot, and once you learned how to do your focus correctly, you then will go to step number 4, which is not as technical as the ones before, composition. I talk a lot about composition on this channel, and I have an entire video with many tips on how to do a good photo composition up here and down here. But basically, if you learn a little bit about how color combinations work, about how lines, frames, and the position of your subject and depth of field can bring the attention to your subject in your photo, if you learn those, you will have a few composition tips that will be just enough for you to start out just fine. This is not complicated to learn at all, and once you memorize some of them, you'll see how instantly your photos will go boom from here to here. Okay, if you studied the topics I just mentioned, by the time you nail them, you will already be able to go out there and shoot amazing photos. And you see, you just had 4 topics. But then you will want to share your photos with the world, and there is 1/5 step I consider crucial to learn when you start out in photography. And that is step number 5, which is editing. I put it in 5th place because after you nail the steps I just gave you, you might want to throw the photos you took into your computer and be able to edit them. That way, you can already have your first photos finished and ready to be shown to the world. There are 2 softwares I use for editing, and they're Lightroom and Photoshop. I started out with Photoshop because 10 years ago, when I started working with editing, Lightroom didn't exist. But if you're new to this, if you've never been in touch with either of them, I really suggest you start out with Lightroom. It will give you all you need to be able to do color and light correction, and that is exactly what I suggest you to learn first in terms of editing, light and color. If you learn how to do some nice editing on light and color, along with the knowledge you will have by studying the steps I just told you before, believe me, you will have some stunning photos by now. Then of course, there's so much you can learn to improve your photography over time. So many camera settings and details I did not mention on this video, but the thing is, if you're starting out, all you need to be able to do is to start from somewhere. And the greatest difficulty I see that people have when they want to start out is they don't know what to start with. That's why many people end up giving up on learning through YouTube, and many others give up on learning at all. So focus. First things first. Summarizing, so it'll be very clear to you. You'll first learn. Number 1, exposure. Number 2, shooting mode. Number 3, focus. Number 4, composition. And then editing. Learn that? Now I'm absolutely sure of 2 things. 1, you will now be able to take very good photos. 2, by the time you've learned these 5 first steps, you will have come across other topics that made you wonder, what is this? So the last and very important tip I saved for the ones of you who sticked up to the end of this video is take notes. While you learn the first 5 steps, take notes of the things you've heard in the videos you're watching or the things you read in the articles you're reading that you don't know what they are. Maybe you've heard them mention about white balance and bokeh effect, how to make star effects on your photos. I don't know. Whatever it is, write that down in your notepad or whatever other tool you use to take notes, and then later, once you've learned the basics we just talked about, you can go back to that list and see what other things you should learn in order to get better and better. And believe me, it never ends. If you like photography, you will always want to learn more. There will always be some cool and different photos you will look at and think, whoa, how did they do that? Or, whoa, I had never thought of taking a photo like this. And that goes on and on and on and on. On and on and on and on. The most important thing is enjoy the process and be nice to yourself. Embrace your learning process. Be determined, but be patient. Being good takes time, and we will always find people who are better than we are. That's life. Just keep doing it. Just keep loving it. Just keep creating and just keep inspired and inspiring. And keep having fun. I hope this video helped you. Now go over the list we just talked about down here in the description and study hard. Start out now. Thanks so much for watching me. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!